Welcome to NTD Newsroom. I'm Don Ma. Our top stories today: tensions escalating in the Middle East. President Trump laying out a timeline for a deal with Iran as the world's largest aircraft carrier heads to the Gulf. And British police have arrested Andrew Mountbatten Windsor on suspicion of misconduct in the public office over ties with Jeffrey Epstein. His brother, King Charles III, says the law must take its course. A budget standoff in New York. Mamdani says to tax the wealthy or hike property taxes, and experts warning the plan could hit first-time buyers hard. We break down who's really at risk. Texas is suing baby monitor company Lorax for hiding its ties to China. What the Texas Attorney General is saying about the risks behind the company's products. Nancy Guthrie has been missing for 19 days now, and law enforcement still doesn't know where to find her, but they ruled out Mexico. Arlene Richards has the latest.
This is NTD Newsroom, live from our global headquarters in New York City.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. President Trump laying out a timeline for negotiations with Iran as the USS Gerald R. Ford heads to the Middle East, and the president announcing billions of dollars of pledges to rebuild Gaza at his inaugural Board of Peace meeting in Washington. We now go live to NTD's Washington correspondent Mari Otsu at the North Lawn of the White House. Mari, good afternoon.
Don, good afternoon. That's right. And President Trump is now suggesting that Iran has 10 days to make a deal with the U.S. as he says that they cannot continue to stabilize, to threaten the stability of the entire Middle East. He also says that the U.S. has just ordered 22 more B-2 bombers, and he reminds those present that it was those B-2 bombers responsible for Operation Midnight Hammer over the summer. That's the demolition of Iran's nuclear facilities. And this is coming as the U.S. sends its largest, the world's largest aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald Ford, to the Gulf. It's joining the USS Lincoln there, and it's expected to arrive in the eastern Mediterranean in about 3 days now. And this is happening also as a Russian warship is conducting drills, Navy drills in the Sea of Oman, just a few days after Iran's Revolutionary Guards conducted drills in the Strait of Hormuz. The White House is repeating to Tehran that it would be very wise to make a deal. And here's the latest from President Trump. Let's take a look.
And we do have some work to do with Iran. They can't have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. You can't have peace in the Middle East if they have a nuclear weapon. And they can't have a nuclear weapon. And they've been told that very strongly. Maybe we're going to make a deal. You're going to be finding out over the next probably 10 days.
And President Trump is giving this warning for Iran at his inaugural Board of Peace meeting here in Washington, where 59 countries are in attendance. And the president is announcing that the U.S. is committing $10 billion to the Board of Peace and to rebuilding Gaza. And other ally countries present are committing $7 billion. Let's take a look.
More impossible problems can be solved as we go along this very beautiful path. I think it's a beautiful path. I think it's such an important day. Everything's beautiful. But the ancient wounds can be healed, and they are indeed ancient. This has been going on for so many centuries that our entire planet will be a better, safer, more beautiful, and more peaceful place for us all. We're going to be working with the United Nations very closely. We're going to bring them back.
Meanwhile, a federal arts panel appointed by President Trump is signing off on the president's plan to construct a 90,000 square foot ballroom in the east wing of the White House here. President Trump is praising that decision on Truth Social, thanking the members of the Fine Arts Commission. And this White House ballroom is expected to be completed by summer 2028 and is funded entirely by President Trump and private donors. Don, back to you.
Okay, Mari, thank you for the updates. And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warns that an unimaginable response would follow if Iran attacks Israel. He addressed combat officers in southern Israel today. Take a listen.
We are operating in close coordination with our great ally, the United States. I made clear to my friend President Trump the principles that, in Israel's view, should guide any negotiations with Iran. We are prepared for any scenario. And one thing is certain. If the Ayatollahs make the mistake and attack us, they will experience a response they cannot even imagine.
Netanyahu says dismantling Iran's nuclear infrastructure is essential to any deal. Meanwhile, Secretary of State Marco Rubio is set to meet Netanyahu in Israel on February 28th. The talks are expected to focus on Iran. Meanwhile, Russia and Iran conducted joint naval exercises today in the northern Indian Ocean. A drill spokesman said the exercises were aimed at promoting security and sustainable maritime interactions. The exercises come as the U.S. has deployed warships near Iran while also holding talks with Tehran over limiting its nuclear program. Russia's Kremlin said it's seeing what it called an unprecedented escalation of tensions around Iran as the U.S. moves military assets into the Middle East. Moscow urged Iran and other parties to exercise prudence and restraint. Russia and Iran have a strategic partnership treaty, though it does not include a mutual defense clause. President Trump is hosting the first Board of Peace meeting today with dozens of countries attending. Joining us to discuss this is Brian Leib, foreign policy analyst and CEO of Henry Public Relations. So Brian, always great to have you on the show. I just want to start off by asking you, how much influence does the Board of Peace have? Because President Trump today says it's extremely consequential in terms of power.
Don, hi, good afternoon to you. I think today's Board of Peace kickoff was really big. I mean, you had the leaders of scores of countries that were there and billions of dollars that were committed to the reconstruction that's going to need to happen in Gaza. So I think it was a really, really powerful moment for the president and a good reminder to the world that American leadership is back on the world stage.
So Brian, making headlines, one point in the meeting is that the United States, President Trump announced contributing $10 billion to this Board of Peace. Your comments on that?
I mean, I think it's just the start. I think there's going to be a lot more money that's going to be pouring in, and I think a lot more is going to be needed. The reconstruction in Gaza is probably going to take hundreds of billions, if not more. So I think it's just the start of money that's going to start rolling in, and I think a lot of the world leaders that were there that you see on your screen right now, the Middle East was very well represented today. In fact, I think almost every single Middle Eastern country was there except Iran. So I think everyone's very committed and dedicated to seeing the rebuilding start to happen in Gaza. But we have to also be honest, Don. Hamas has not laid down their arms. Hamas is not keeping up with their end of the bargain. They're not disarming, they're not disbanding, and they're continuing to operate inside of Gaza. So until Hamas is removed, I don't know if they're going to be able to start rebuilding anything in Gaza.
You're right about that, Brian. Hamas has not disarmed. Can I just ask you on this point specifically, what is your optimism level that the Board of Peace can make sure that Hamas disarms?
I don't know if the Board of Peace as a whole is going to make sure that Hamas disarms, but it's going to be up to Israel to make sure that Hamas disarms. And of course, Israel seems to have the backing of President Trump and of a lot of other countries to make sure that happens. So, we'll see how this happens and unfolds, here, Don, over the next couple of weeks. But that really is the biggest impediment to anything moving forward right now. It's great that President Trump is able to convene this fantastic kickoff of the Board of Peace, and world leaders from all aspects or all parts of the globe were there to be part of this. But Hamas needs to disarm. Hamas needs to be shown the door. And if they're not going to do that, then I don't know if we're going to be able to move forward, like I said, with the rebuilding. So time will tell.
Right. We'll see how this unfolds in the coming weeks. And you're right, this is a major sticking point. So, Brian, I brought a clip here with me of Secretary of State Marco Rubio talking about what the purpose of the Board of Peace is. Let's just quickly take a look at this clip.
There is no plan B for Gaza. Plan B is going back to war. No one here wants that. Plan A, the only path forward, is one that rebuilds Gaza in a way of enduring and sustainable peace, where everyone can live there side by side with one another and never worry again about returning to conflict, to war, to human suffering, and to destruction.
So Vice President J.D. Vance also saying that the point of the Board of Peace is to making peace actually stick. So maybe you can just talk to us about some of the tools in its toolbox here that it has to maintain peace.
Well, I mean, the fact that there's so many countries from around the world that are united with the United States and with Israel in ensuring that there is lasting peace, I think is really the most powerful thing, because that's really what led to Hamas finally releasing all the alive and dead hostages was not so much the Israeli military campaign, but it was the world pressure. And especially the pressure coming from the United States and from Donald Trump. So I think, all of these countries working together in lockstep with the United States and Israel, we're going to get to a point where, Hamas is going to have to, make a move. And if they don't make a move, then perhaps Israel's going to have to go back into Gaza and really disarm them the hard way. And I think it's something Israel's capable of doing. I'm not sure if the United States and the other countries at the Board of Peace are going to be part of that. But certainly if Hamas needs to be destroyed and dismantled and disarmed, I think Israel's capable of doing that. And I think they'll have the backing of everyone that was at the Board of Peace today.
Yeah, and President Trump warning as well of consequences if Hamas does not disarm. So another point here I would like you to react to is that President Trump said today during this Board of Peace meeting, he's saying that this board is going to, I'm reading a quote here, going to almost be looking over the United Nations and making sure it runs properly. In your view, what does this mean?
I love that President Trump had this Board of Peace. It was a mini UN pretty much in Washington is what happened earlier today. And at the same time, Don, he made a point to say nice things about the UN Secretary General, and he said nice things about the UN. It's classical Trump, playing kind of both sides, from a diplomatic perspective, which is good. But yeah, I mean, listen, I think what we saw happen and unfold today was certainly could be another version of the United Nations, and one that hasn't been, corrupted by a lot of bad actors and a lot of corruption and a lot of fraud and waste and abuse. So, we'll see if the Board of Peace, turns into some kind of a, governing body of some sorts or oversight authority. Time will tell on that. But I really think it was pretty magical for the United States to convene all of these world leaders from all parts of the world to come here today to Washington to pledge that they want to see peace happening in the Middle East. So I think it was pretty powerful.
Okay, Brian, just quickly, one last thing here. It stood out to me that President Trump said today that Russia and China could be part of this in some form. He didn't really elaborate on that. He said it doesn't work if you only have one ideology. You have to have all sides. Just your final thoughts on this.
Well, I think Russia and China are going to have to decide what side they're on. I mean, we see what's unfolding right now between the United States and Iran, and you have Russia and China that are directly supplying Iran with military supplies. Russia is doing naval war games with the Iranians. I think the Chinese are doing similar kind of war games right now, and they're trying to signal that they're going to stand by the Iranians if the United States decides to move forward, which I really think would be catastrophic for the Russians and for the Chinese. I don't think ultimately they're going to do that because I don't think they want to go to war with the United States. But yeah, I mean, I think both of those countries, the Russians and the Chinese, they have to decide, where do they want to sit? Do they want to sit, at a table of two or three leaders with the Iranians and with North Korean Kim Jong-un, or do they want to sit at the big boys table on the screen that you see right now with world leaders from over 30 countries represented? So they're going to have to make a decision in terms of where they want to be.
Yeah, I mean, this phrase has been used often, but China and Russia really needs to ask themselves if they're on the right side of history. Brian, it's been a pleasure to speak with you today. Thank you.
Thanks, Don. Have a good day.
What will President Trump's address in this year's State of the Union look like, and how does America differ now from his first term? Join NTD's Steve Lance, Tiffany Meyer, and Mari Otsu on February 23rd at 6 p.m. Eastern for a preview of the biggest topics in the State of the Union. Don't miss it. A budget standoff in New York. Mamdani says to tax the wealthy or hike property taxes, and experts warn the plan could hit first-time homebuyers hard. We break down who's really at risk after this break. Don't go away.
In times of uncertainty, technology for humanity matters more than ever. Ganjing World utilizes technologies to promote kindness, respect, and trust among people. Subscribe to GJW Plus. Enjoy over 10,000 movies and shows. Ganjing Kids, the #1 safe platform, value-based learning and fun for kids. Be part of technology for humanity. Subscribe now.
Tired of struggling with that heavy leaf blower? Introducing the Bullseye Power Blower. It delivers a massive blowing force, and yet it's so compact and lightweight. Just lock and load the rechargeable battery for long-lasting runtime. The secret is the compact turbocharged motor with jet burst technology that blasts out 21,000 RPMs of airflow. Watch this. The sheer force propels this woman across the pool. Look, use Bullseye to blow up a huge jump house. Now that's power. Even blows snow right off your vehicle in no time. Turbo clean your porch in a flash or tidy up your dirty garage floor in seconds. Get it today for just $99.99. But wait, act now and get a $20 discount. So it's only $79.99. Plus, you'll get the adjustable extension tube. Yours free. And it all comes with free shipping. Order now.
Call 1-800-209-2313 or go to bullseyeblower.com. That's 1-800-209-2313 or order online at bullseyeblower.com. Order now.
Discover the ancient secret to vitality and longevity with Puretane Black Ginseng. Crafted from premium 6-year-old Korean ginseng, each root is carefully nurtured for over 2,260 days, undergoing a traditional 9-round handcrafted process of steaming and drying to unlock full potency and absorption. Experience pure, natural energy with Puretane Black Ginseng. Order now at puretane.com.
Hate is loud. It gets clicks. It gets attention. Hate, however, is actually quite small. But love is the majority, filling up something far more important than any feed. Love fills our hearts, our lives, our every day, with understanding, empathy, and compassion, leaving hate to become what it truly is, a whisper.
British police have arrested Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, formerly known as Prince Andrew, on suspicion of misconduct in public office. Thames Valley police say a man in his 60s from Norfolk was arrested today and remains in custody. Authorities are also carrying out searches at addresses in Berkshire and Norfolk. Police have not named the suspect. In line with national guidance, the arrest follows an assessment into reports that Mountbatten Windsor sent confidential trade reports to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein in 2010. He was serving as Britain's special envoy for international trade at the time. The reports stem from correspondence included in millions of pages of Justice Department documents released last month as part of the Epstein investigation. Police say a formal investigation has now been opened and updates will be provided at the appropriate time. And King Charles has released a statement following the arrest of his brother, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, on suspicion of misconduct in public office. The king says he learned of the news with the deepest concern. He stressed that what follows must be a full, fair, and proper process handled by the appropriate authorities. He added that the royal family will give their full and wholehearted support and cooperation. The king made it clear that the law must take its course. and added that he and his family will continue their duty and service to the public. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer says that anyone with relevant information about the Epstein case should testify. Starmer spoke to the BBC in an interview today before the news that former Prince Andrew was arrested. He said that, quote, everybody is equal under the law and nobody is above the law, adding that the principle must apply in Prince Andrew's case as well as it would in any other case.
One of the core principles in our system is that everybody is equal under the law and nobody is above the law. And it is really important that that is applied across the board. That is the principle. It's a long-standing principle. It's a very important principle of our country, our society, and it applies. And it has to apply in this case in the same way as it would apply in any other case.
And President Trump says U.S. tariffs have sharply reduced the nation's trade deficit and predicts a surplus could soon come. In a post on Truth Social, Trump saying the trade deficit has been reduced by 78% because of tariffs. He added that the deficit will go into positive territory during this year. Official December trade data due today is projected to show a monthly surplus of about $55.5 billion, which would be the first since 1975. That's according to investing.com. The U.S. is still forecast to post a trade deficit of more than $800 billion, however, in 2025. But that would be down from a record $1.2 trillion in 2024. President Trump is set to deliver another economic speech today in Rome, Georgia. Republicans are focusing on cost of living issues ahead of the November midterm elections. The president is expected to outline what the White House calls plans to make life affordable for working people. Trump has pointed to a cooling inflation rate, recent tax cuts, and proposals to eliminate taxes on tips, overtime, and Social Security benefits. The annual inflation rate eased to 2.4% in January, down from 2.7% in December. Energy prices also declining, while some food and housing costs remain elevated. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani is laying out plans to deal with New York City's $5.4 billion budget gap. Two plans have been laid out so far. NTD Sean Marshall has more.
New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani is sending an ultimatum to Governor Kathy Hochul. He says there are two paths of fixing New York City's budget deficit.
The first path repairs the structural imbalance between the city and the state. We want to work with Albany to raise personal income taxes by 2% on the 33,000 New Yorkers earning more than $1 million a year, and to raise corporate taxes on the most profitable corporations.
At a separate event Tuesday, Governor Hochul said that Mamdani needs to go back to the drawing board. Mayors are having to do what they have to do. I'm not supportive of property tax increases. I don't know that that's necessary. That's after giving City Hall an extra $1.5 billion on Monday.
First off, this is a preliminary plan, and this is really the start of Mamdani negotiating with the state.
And there are two paths that we can walk. One that offers long-term stability, and a second one with significant pain that we deeply hope to avoid.
My initial reaction is, it's never great when we're going to increase property taxes, but who's really going to take the hit on this? The market is really the tale of two ends. So we have the high-end luxury market. They're really looking at things, trophy properties, long-term hold. They're going to be less affected. So who's really going to be affected by the increase in property taxes? First-time buyers. And first-time buyers are already dealing with so many challenges, especially with affordability. They are much more sensitive to an increase in interest rates, volatility in the stock market, and any levels of policy change. So that's really who's going to be hit the hardest here.
Once again, I'm calling for Albany to end the drain. There is no third option of failing to balance the budget.
Andrew Rain, the president of the Citizens Budget Commission, also pushed back against the two-option plan. He said the best option, dig into the agencies, identify spending that is helping New Yorkers and keep it, identify spending that is not helping New Yorkers and shrink it.
I'm not surprised. We saw this showdown with Hochul and Albany legislatures coming. This is a game that is played politically between the mayors of New York and governors when there's a major, when there's a budget.
However, in order to get to this point of closing the gap on both this fiscal year and the next fiscal year, we are forced to raid the Rainy Day Fund, the Retiree Health Benefits Trust Reserve, and to increase property taxes across these other years.
Many outer borough residents that live in detached homes tend to have higher property tax rates versus folks who live in luxury condominiums in Manhattan. Okay, this will exacerbate that tax burden on hardworking New York City taxpayers. This money grab is really the only vehicle at the mayor's disposal. He does not have the power to raise corporate taxes or personal income taxes. He can only raise property taxes. So this 9.5% property tax increase is concerning to a lot of hardworking New Yorkers and also the business community.
The city's budget documents claim that Mamdani's budget would be an estimated $122 billion by the end of fiscal year 2026 and grow to $127 billion by 2027. Sean Marshall, NTD News.
Texas is suing baby monitor company Lorax for hiding its ties to China. This is the third such lawsuit by Texas this week, targeting companies tied to the Chinese Communist Party. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton says Lorax baby monitor cameras and other products contain components provided by Tahoe. It's a Chinese company tied to the Chinese regime's military, and its products are designated a national security risk by the U.S. Paxton says such technology could potentially allow the Chinese regime to exploit the home security systems of Texans at any time. The statement reads, quote, "Any company that allows the Chinese Communist Party to threaten American safety and security will face the full force of the law." The lawsuit comes after Texas also sued network equipment company TP-Link and drone company Anzu Robotics over China ties this week. Bill Gates will not deliver a keynote address at the AI summit in Delhi. The cancellation comes amid controversies over his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Here's more on that.
Bill Gates pulled out of India's AI Impact Summit on Thursday, hours before he was scheduled to deliver a keynote address. That adds to a difficult opening for a summit billed as the first major AI forum in the global south. Organisational lapses, a robot row, and complaints of traffic chaos have marred the flagship event. And it suffered another high-profile absence after Nvidia said earlier this week that CEO Jensen Huang would not be attending. The Gates cancellation comes after the US Department of Justice released emails last month, including communication between the late financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and the Gates Foundation's staff. Gates Foundation India said in a post on X that the decision was to ensure the focus remains on the AI Summit's key priorities. The documents indicate Gates and Epstein met repeatedly after Epstein's prison term to discuss expanding Gates's philanthropic efforts. Gates has said the relationship was confined to philanthropy-related discussions and that it was a mistake for him to meet with Epstein. Just days ago, the foundation had dismissed rumours of his absence and insisted he was on track to attend. Nevertheless, the six-day event has notched more than $200 billion in investment pledges for AI infrastructure in India, as New Delhi seeks to position itself as a leading voice in worldwide AI governance.
Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg testified yesterday in a landmark Los Angeles trial in which social media platforms are accused of using addictive features that harm children. We're going to NTD's Christina Corona, who has more from inside the courtroom and the latest on what the jurors heard.
We're here outside the U.S. courthouse where Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg is testifying in a major social media addiction lawsuit. The plaintiff's attorney, Mark Lanier, pressed Zuckerberg on Meta's focus on getting young users onto social media.
The case centers on a woman identified as Kaylee GM, now 20, who says she started using social media as a child, became addicted, and that it worsened her depression and suicidal thoughts. On the stand, Zuckerberg told jurors children under 13 are banned from Meta platforms, but admitted some minors still access Instagram in other ways, such as lying about their age. He said Meta removes accounts when it discovers users are underage. Plaintiff's attorney Mark Lanier pushed back, questioning whether Meta can seriously expect young children to read lengthy terms and conditions before signing up. Lanier also pointed to internal documents suggesting Meta estimated millions of underage users were on Instagram. He then questioned Zuckerberg about internal milestones tied to time spent on the app, including targets like 40 minutes per day in 2023, rising to 46 minutes by 2026. Zuckerberg said, quote, "The milestones are a process we have internally to be able to measure across our industry to measure if we're on track." Outside the court, parents and survivor families called for tougher laws to protect children online.
So therefore, we cannot have our children to have access to these platforms in their current status unless legislation's passed that will force them to make these changes that are necessary to make their platforms designed by safety.
Zuckerberg rejected claims that social media is intentionally addictive or harmful, describing it as a tool people naturally return to for connection and information.
This case is one of more than 1,000 lawsuits accusing Meta and YouTube of having addictive design features that can harm children. Reporting from downtown Los Angeles, Christina Corona, NTD News.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker is proposing a new statewide fee on social media companies. The plan aims to raise $200 million a year for education. Here's the governor announcing the proposal yesterday.
I'm proposing the Children's Social Media Safety Act, a common-sense proposal to decrease the harmful effects of social media on kids, improve their safety and privacy online, and prevent financial scamming of children. Social media algorithms have been proven to create mental health issues in adolescents and foster polarization and misinformation in society as a whole. Those companies are profiting from online engagement of Illinois' consumers, and they currently contribute nothing to ameliorate the negative effects of their platforms. So that I propose a social media platform fee that will generate $200 million per year to support K-12 education. Parents and kids deserve to have better funded schools. And if social media giants are going to feed off of Illinois families, they ought to support Illinois families.
Under the proposal, social media platforms would pay a monthly fee based on active users in Illinois. Larger companies would pay higher rates. The legislation would bar companies from passing the fee on to users. Pritzker's office estimates the proposal would generate $200 million annually for elementary and high school education. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nano said he remains optimistic amid the ongoing search for Nancy Guthrie and is urging the suspect to release her, saying the case is not cold. More news after this.
I have traveled all over the world to 50 countries now, and I have never seen a production any better than this anywhere.
Breathtaking. It is absolutely stunning. It's so uplifting.
I feel better about the world.
It was encouraging, gave me hope.
It was absolutely amazingly divine.
I thought that I was going to heaven.
You have to come see it.
Multiple times. It's worth every penny.
Make sure you see it. Make sure you see it.
Returns to David Koch Theater, March 25th through April 12th. Shenyun.com.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, MyPillow mattresses and MyPillow mattress toppers, as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets, regular $69.98. Now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard MyPillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale, only $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's going to ship absolutely free.
In 4 days. There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children. She didn't know what to do.
Did you have a good day at school?
She gave them some broth without any bread.
There you go.
And kissed them all soundly.
Night night. Good night.
And put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire, and how to control the flames. But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
The search for Nancy Guthrie is now in its 19th day, and investigators are still working through tips and leads without a leading theory on her disappearance. But they have ruled out the possibility that she was taken across the border. NTD's Arlene Richards has more on this.
Another day has gone by, and despite thousands of tips and leads, law enforcement still hasn't located Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. And several authorities are still grappling over whether the disappearance was a targeted kidnapping, a burglary gone wrong, or something else. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos told the BBC on Wednesday that he believes it is a targeted kidnapping.
But the evidence and the case as it unfolds will prove that or prove something else. But yes, I believe it was.
Let's stay on the street. Investigators did confirm to several news outlets on Thursday that Mrs. Guthrie likely isn't in Mexico. According to the New York Times, authorities ruled out a lead on a purchase thought to be connected to the case after communicating with Mexican officials. Surveillance footage from Nancy Guthrie's doorbell camera captured one masked man wearing black gloves and tampering with the camera. Nanos told ABC on Wednesday there are more images.
We have so many images from Ring cameras and videos, traffic videos, intersection videos.
Fox News reports that authorities on Thursday are asking residents near Nancy Guthrie's home to share doorbell camera footage dated to January 11th from 9 p.m. to midnight, a date that aligns with the time frame of a Google search for Guthrie's name. Google data shows a search was conducted on January 11th for Nancy Guthrie's address and her daughter Savannah Guthrie's salary. The outlets say a spokesperson for the Pima County Sheriff's Office told them the FBI has been canvassing the neighborhood asking for footage. The Pima County Sheriff's Department is requesting doorbell video camera footage anytime from January 1st to February 2nd. Meanwhile, the FBI has posted another call for tips that will help them find Nancy Guthrie. They're still offering a reward of up to $100,000.
We run all leads down until we have no more lead.
Arlene Richards, NTD News.
Sheriff Nanos also saying that the case is not cold and urging the captor to just let her go. Joining us to discuss this is retired Las Vegas Police Lieutenant Randy Sutton. He's also the founder and chairman of the Wounded Blue. Randy, good afternoon to you. So the investigation has been going on for 3 weeks. Is the speed of this investigation normal relative to how much information has been found?
Well, there's a massive amount of information that's coming in as far as leads go. I believe they're up to somewhere around 25,000 tips coming in from either the tip lines or emails. That is a massive investigation. And you have to have incredible amounts of personnel that has to triage this information and then try and pare down what needs to be investigated immediately. So it's a big burdensome investigation. Now, if you look at the evidence that has been collected here, we have DNA evidence, we have photographic evidence, we have witnesses that have come forward with the information that needs to be verified. And at the end of the day, it is up to the investigators to pare down what they feel is important and then concentrate on those leads. So this is a long-term investigation. To characterize this as a cold case, that is absolutely not correct.
Okay, so you mentioned thousands of leads, camera footage, DNA evidence. What do they really need to really crack this case?
Well, they need that one piece of information that will be key to cracking the case, and that is who did this and why. Trying to develop a motive for this is critical. Victimology is critical in this investigation. When I say that, the study of the victim, they need to, and what they are doing is combing through every piece of correspondence, digital, telephone that is connected with the victim. They need to know who she has communicated with, because this didn't happen in a vacuum. There is information there that will once pared down, will bring investigative leads to law enforcement that will lead to the capture of the individuals who were involved in this.
So, Randy, I just want to ask you of your analysis of this surveillance video that captured a potential male suspect wearing a backpack. We've seen that video a number of times now. It's been out for a while. Can I just ask you, by your analysis, what jumps out to you from watching this footage?
Well, as we have heard, there's a ton of theories out there. And one of those is that this was a burglary gone wrong. I believe that the image that was portrayed on this video that was released, it negates that. Nobody, first of all, I looked at the crime statistics and the reports that have been reported in this area, and nighttime burglaries are extremely rare. You don't dress up like this individual did to go hit a house and steal jewelry. Okay, this was a targeted attack. And I think that what we saw here, what was striking about this, first of all, I mean, it's monstrous when you look at this. When I think about it, the victim, Mrs. Guthrie, laying home in her bed, and then this creature coming into her room and taking her forcefully. If that doesn't send a shiver down your spine about the malevolence and evil that's at play here, nothing will. So it really breaks my heart that she had to experience that. This video really shows preparation. Now, I know that it's a little incongruous because we look at how he dealt with the discovery of the doorbell camera, picking up those leaves. That's incongruous. You would think that if he had that information to begin with, he would have brought something like a piece of tape or some paint to paint over it. So that's a little incongruous on this. But I do believe that this shows the intent to commit a devastating crime like what occurred.
I mean, yeah, it's truly terrible what happened to Nancy Guthrie. And President Trump, he was posting threatening the death penalty if the suspect does not return Nancy Guthrie. What are your thoughts on whether local authorities should be leading this case versus maybe potentially having the FBI lead? This has been a talking point.
Oh, very much so. And I have some serious questions about the leadership capabilities of Sheriff Nanos. He has shown himself to be having some serious issues regarding leadership. When I say that, his lack of cooperation with the FBI, which was revealed even by an FBI press release regarding the DNA evidence discovered on one of the glove that was found 2 miles away. For some reason, the sheriff made a determination to send it to a private lab that he has used in the past rather than submitting it directly to the FBI, which is mind-boggling to me. Add to that the mistakes made during the release of the crime scene at such an early stage. That was unforgivable as far as I'm concerned when it comes down to conducting a serious investigation. There has been a lot of discussion internally through my sources regarding the competence of the sheriff and his lack of leadership abilities that had been demonstrated a lot of times during this investigation and prior.
Okay, Randy, just one last thing. What role has Savannah Guthrie played, posting videos that have kept the public's interest, public attention on this investigation?
Well, I've been around a long time, as you well know, and I don't remember the last time a crime like this has captured the attention that it has, not just in the United States, but around the world. I liken this to the Charles Lindbergh baby kidnapping of the last century, when the world was captivated by it. And there's, we're in the modern day era of communication, and where everyone has access to this type of news. And I think that that Savannah's role has been that of the grieving, daughter. If you don't feel something when you see her videos and the pain etched on her face and that of her families, then there's something radically wrong with you if you don't feel that. But unfortunately, people that are capable of doing this type of crime, they have no conscience. They have no humanity. They are predators. And unfortunately, the reality is that predators do exist among us. And this is a stark example of just that.
Yeah, and our thoughts are with Savannah Guthrie and her family and Nancy Guthrie, and we sincerely hope that she is returned alive and well. But Randy, thank you so much for giving us your insight. So useful. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
News coming in now about the avalanche in Lake Tahoe, California. Authorities have confirmed 8 of the 9 missing skiers are dead. The last missing skier is also presumed dead. Rescue teams are finding the 8 bodies late last night, on Tuesday, that is, and authorities are saying Tuesday's avalanche was the country's deadliest in 45 years. They're saying the skiers had little time to react. Teams managed to rescue 6 people in the hours after the disaster. According to officials, several of the skiers killed were members of the Sugar Bowl Academy, a nearby boarding school and ski club. Out of respect for the families and the victims, the school said it will not be releasing their names to the public. Now, War Secretary Pete Hegseth making a stop at the Boeing Company in St. Louis, Missouri on his Arsenal of Freedom tour. He outlined yesterday how the Trump administration wants to revamp America's defense industry. Here's more.
Secretary of War Pete Hegseth brought his Arsenal of Freedom tour to St. Louis yesterday, a city known in aviation circles as Fighterland, USA, because of the high number of military aircraft produced in the area. Hegseth spoke to roughly 500 employees at Boeing, telling them the Trump administration was focused on making American manufacturing competitive.
When we unleash competitive spirit, America comes out on top.
The visit comes the same day Boeing announced it is relocating its Defense, Space, and Security Division back to St. Louis from Arlington, Virginia. The stop is part of a nationwide effort aimed at revitalizing the defense industrial base and accelerating manufacturing. Hegseth outlining President Trump's defense priorities.
At the War Department, we are the Strength Department. Our job is to be the hammer when necessary and hopefully not have to use it. But if we do, we'll fight to win.
And according to Hegseth, that means making sure American warfighters are never in a fair fight.
No more political correctness, overwhelming deterrence. And from us to you on your front, as it applies to peace through strength, that means less red tape, more incentives, and more speed on the factory floor.
Hegseth highlighted the EA-18 Growler produced by Boeing in St. Louis as an example of the facility's role in national defense. He said the aircraft played a role in Operation Absolute Resolve, the January 3rd mission that led to the capture of Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro and his wife. After visiting Boeing, Hegseth stopped at the St. Louis Military Entrance Processing Station to administer the oath of enlistment to 32 future service members. His swearing-in ceremonies have been standard practice since the tour began January 5th.
Team USA racks up medals at the Winter Olympics. Michaela Shiffrin makes alpine skiing history with another gold. More news after this break. Stay with us.
Disasters are not a matter of if, but when. And they're happening in communities like ours more often.
Even before disaster strikes, hunger is already a crisis in America. But a disaster tests the very heart of who we are as a community. Food is scarce. But it's in these moments of crisis that our strength shines through. Because as neighbors, we lead the way forward. Please join with Feeding America, and let's be there for families in crisis. Call or go online to givetofeedingamerica.org. Just $19 a month, only 63 cents a day. Rushes food, water, and urgent supplies into communities just like yours.
They called us immediately and said, what can we do?
It's those partnerships that come together and respond to recovery.
Feeding America works with local food banks to get immediate relief to families as they recover. And we stay for as long as it takes, because disasters don't wait, and neither do we.
They delivered a truckload of food to us to undergird what we had.
Every box of food, every bottle of water, shows the power of neighbors being there for each other. When we work together, we are never alone. Call or donate online at givetofeedingamerica.org. Your gift will be so much more than a donation. It will be a filling meal for a child, comfort for a family in crisis.
We need to be there for our community for the next 40 years, just like we were for the last 40 years. And that's helping people build back in a way that is as strong as possible.
Please call or go online and give right now. With your monthly gift, we'll send you this exclusive canvas bag as a reminder of the hope you're delivering.
We're definitely here during the storm, and we're going to be here long after the storm.
But we need your support to continue being there for your community, for you, and for every family facing a crisis. Please call or go online to givetofeedingamerica.org and make your urgent gift today.
My mom and dad were traditional Asian parents. Now my father would go to work before I woke up in the morning, and then he would come home too tired to play with me. I tell my son, I love you every single day. Now my dad has never said that to me. Not because he doesn't love me, but because culturally it wasn't comfortable for him. So I teased him the other day and I said, how come you never say that to me? And he said, you're too old now. Now that he's a grandfather, he says, I love you to my son every time he sees him. My advice to all the fathers out there, forget the material things, forget the cultural restrictions. They grow up way too fast for you to waste even a single precious minute or moment.
Say bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Yesterday's events at the Milano Cortina Winter Olympics saw the U.S. add another gold to its medal count. American skier Michaela Schifrin took home the gold in the women's slalom, posting a combined time of just over 1 minute and 39 seconds. This is the 30-year-old's fourth Olympic medal of her career, making her the only American in alpine skiing history to hold 3 Olympic gold medals. And in cross-country skiing, Americans Gus Schumacher and Ben Ogden took home the silver medal, earning Team USA's first ever Olympic medal in the men's team sprint. They finished behind Norway's Einar Edgard and Johannes Kallabo, earning Kallabo's 5th gold medal at this year's Games and 10th gold medal overall. American Jake Cantor secured the bronze at the snowboard slopestyle, earning his 4th Olympic medal of his career. From figure skating to curling, the 2026 Winter Games has been a captivating tournament so far, but with just 3 days left, we're heading towards the finish line. We asked people on the streets of New York City which moments stood out to them the most. Check it out.
For the Winter Olympics, hockey. Well, the Canada game's going on right now. I'm following on my phone. How do I like the games? It's been very entertaining. I like the bobsled. I like to watch the snowboarders do the big air, do their flips in the air. And I'm very excited to watch the U.S. women hockey team play. I remember watching Lindsey Vonn. She unfortunately crashed, but she posted a really nice message after her injury, saying that she was doing well, and so I thought that was very touching. That was obviously a great story to watch. I like both the Tkachuk brothers on the United States hockey team. Jack Hughes is great as well. And Bo Horvat, he's a fan. He plays for the New York Islanders, and I'm a big Islanders fan. He's on Team Canada as well, so he's great. All the hockey guys I enjoy watching.
I do like to watch figure skating only because I can't do that, and it's very interesting. I think they have a lot of power in jumping around and spinning, and that's very impressive to me. Most exciting, I think it's the half pipe. All the we have in America the X Games where people do like extreme sports. Putting more of those sports in the Winter Olympics I think are really cool. So seeing people do the half pipe like Chloe Kim and some others is also really impressive. I'm really interested to figure out how luge came to be because it is so scary and weird. And then you have double luge with 2 people going down, which to me seems insane. Well, I've been seeing a lot of drama with curling going on recently between Canada and Sweden, I think, and some other countries now too, of some alleged cheating going on, touching the stones when you shouldn't be touching the stones. And I think drama makes everything more interesting.
So I'm really interested in skiing, snowboarding, and especially bobsleighing. It's amazing, just the sport itself, the culture, just embrace whatever you like. And personally, I'm a huge skier. I like to go skiing, and I've never tried bobsleighing, but that's definitely something I want to try. Not really, no. Just I'm from Germany. Of course, I'm always happy if German wins, but no one is really standing out. No. Skiing as well. I mean, I'm a skier myself. Always happy if someone who is even German then wins, but don't really care about who particular is the one who's going to be the best. I'm just enjoying the sport. I'm just enjoying watching it. Just from time to time. I mean, right now we're here on vacation, so we couldn't catch all of the slope races, but yeah, just enjoying it.
Curling. I love when they go like really fast. It's very cool. I watched U.S. versus Italy, I think it was. Like any sport that they go downhill is very good.
President Trump is taking up another domestic tour. He's visiting a local business and a steel plant in Georgia this afternoon. We'll bring it to you live when he gives the remarks on the economy. Stay tuned.
This is such a gentle painting, so beautifully portrayed.
A group of people reading together in this simple, everyday-looking living room. A young girl reading along with an adult, a grandparent sitting in the lotus position, a businessman in his typical suit.
You see all those people, they look like they have quietly settled down there. And you as a viewer, it looks like you've just stepped in the door.
You can't see what it is they're reading, so you're a little bit curious and you're kind of invited to walk in.
This harmonious feeling is not by accident. It is the very subject of the work. The book they are reading is the main text of Falun Gong, which is an ancient Chinese spiritual discipline in the Buddhist tradition. At the core of Falun Gong are the values of truthfulness, compassion, and forbearance. Unfortunately, the practice is banned in China, where the artist resides. Thousands have been killed for their faith. Golden energy blooms into the room as a result of their steadfast faith. The painting on the back wall reminds us of this work's title, Plum Blossoms in a Muddy World.
It's also a metaphor for the practitioners that are sitting in the room as plum blossoms.
They signify perseverance and hope that all brutal winters end and life is renewed once again.
The magical painting.
Like sweet
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.